Hi everyone, my name is Barkha Dutt and we're keeping it simple in Washington DC today, where the Trump administration has only recently announced its decision to take e-cigarettes or vapes, as they're called, off the shelves, at least most of the flavored ones. New York State has just this week joined the bandwagon in those who are saying that e-cigarettes are harmful, and they're harmful for young people in particular. This after 6 people have died and an estimated 450 have actually developed lung illnesses that are seen to be linked to their use of these vapes or e-cigarettes. Now, scientists are still researching what could have caused these deaths, whether it was linked to a particular toxin or a chemical, or whether it was in fact linked to the vapes itself per se. But while the jury is out on that, the government back home in India seems to have taken a cue from America, taken a leaf out of its book in imposing this ban in India on e-cigarettes. But the question must be asked, by imposing this ban on e-cigarettes, are we in some ways letting big tobacco win? Because the fact is that if we are not simultaneously imposing a ban on conventional combustible cigarettes, and there are no two ways about the fact that these are much more harmful on health, on our lungs, than e-cigarettes, whatever be the problem of e-cigarettes, then isn't the whole purpose of this ban defeated? And doesn't it lack moral force? Doesn't it seem hypocritical? Consider the statistics. In India, 900,000 people die due to tobacco-related illnesses every year. India carries 12% of the global burden when it comes to tobacco use. Surveys have shown that India has the lowest quit rate, that's the success rate, when it comes to people actually leaving smoking in the world. And 40% of Indians are said to be exposed to passive smoking. Now, the important thing about e-cigarettes, whatever their other problems may be, is that they do not, of course, create passive smoking, because they do not burn the nicotine, they do not create the tar, which is in fact why on a relative scale they are considered much safer than conventional combustible cigarettes. Now, I don't doubt the intention of the government. The fact is that there is a very genuine concern that young people are taking to vapes as a trendy new fad, and smoking had become infra-dig, and vapes may sort of bring back the cool factor to picking up a cigarette. The e-cigarettes may have the danger of doing that. So I do take Nirmala Sitharaman's point about that. But the fact is that even though Americans also reflect the same concern, and here studies have shown that 1 in every 4 high school students is or has used an e-cigarette, are we then going to push these teenagers back into the hands of the big tobacco lobby? Are we then going to push them towards cigarettes? Because the fact is that cigarettes are available. They may be priced steeply, but they're available here in the United States and they're available in India. And without talking about a ban on conventional cigarettes, what is the purpose of this ban on e-cigarettes? And isn't it just going to help the gigantically influential and wealthy tobacco lobby? Perhaps no surprise then that soon after the Modi government made its announcement, you could see a spike in the shares of companies like ITC or Godfrey Phillips, because in the end, a ban on e-cigarettes is only going to push people either back or towards conventional cigarettes. Countries like the United Kingdom have actually used e-cigarettes as a methodology to wean away people from conventional cigarettes, and they say that their experiment with this has yielded positive results. So I'm not here advocating for e-cigarettes. I understand the concerns. I understand that they aren't totally safe, and it's not a fad that we should be encouraging. But without a simultaneous ban on cigarettes, on conventional tobacco use, we know that the entire sort of thinking behind the ban on e-cigarettes becomes infructuous, hypocritical, and frankly, completely pointless. Things in the end can only be judged on a relative scale. And on a relative scale, e-cigarettes, at least science tells us for the moment, are preferable to the status quo of conventional smoking. So we urge the government to think about it through that prism.